In the bustling city of Abba, where Danfo horns sang louder than church bells, and everybody's business had a front row seat on WhatsApp status, there lived a couple people used to call love and light. Their real names were Chidi Okafor and Amara Okafor. Back when their love was fresh like hot puff puff, Chidi was a young man with big dreams and empty pockets. Amara was the kind of woman whose laughter could make a room feel like home. They married with nothing but 2 boxes, 1 mattress, and the stubborn belief that the world must surely respect people who loved each other well. Their first apartment was a face me I face you in Lacquer Street. The zinc roof leaked whenever rain fell like it was angry. The landlord was always threatening them with pack-out, even when rent wasn't due. But those early years held a sweetness that money cannot buy. At night, they would sit outside with neighbors, sharing stories and sachet water, and Chidi would squeeze Amara's hand and whisper, "One day, I will build you a house that rain cannot insult." Amara would smile, resting her head on his shoulder. "Just don't build it with pride," she would say. "Build it with peace." Chidi started as a spare parts boy, sweeping shops, carrying heavy engine blocks, learning the market language of hustle. Amara sold small chops and zobo, then moved to selling hair products from a bag, walking from salon to salon like a queen, without a crown. Some days, they ate jollof rice. Many days, it was gari and groundnut. But even gari was sweet when taken with laughter. When trouble came, it didn't mean 2 people fighting each other. It meant 2 people holding hands. That was why the city began to notice them. Then, like a Nollywood montage, their struggle started to pay. Chidi became the kind of man people called chairman even before he had money. He saved, he invested, he learned. He got a small shop, then a bigger one. After some years, he moved from spare parts into importing car accessories. Amara expanded too. She opened a beauty store that smelled of perfumes and promise. By their 10th year of marriage, they had built what Chidi once promised, a real house with a gate that didn't shake when you touched it. They moved into Okafor Villa, not a mansion like the politicians own, but big enough to silence their old landlord's mouth forever. At their housewarming, people ate goat meat and danced as if the money was their own. Aunties praised Amara, "This woman is strong. She followed her husband from nothing." Uncles praised Chidi, "This man is blessed. His wife is a good woman." And for a while, it was true in the purest sense. They were love and light. But wealth is a strange visitor. It comes with gifts, and it also comes with mirrors. It began subtly. Chidi started coming home later. His phone began to sleep face down like it had secrets. He joined a men's club that met every Friday, men who smelled of expensive cologne, and spoke about the benefits of enjoyment like it was a business seminar. One evening, as Amara served him pepper soup, Chidi said casually, "You know, a man like me now has responsibilities." Amara blinked. "Responsibilities like what again?" Chidi cleared his throat. "Like expanding. Like taking another wife." The spoon in Amara's hand froze midair. Another wife. Chidi didn't meet her eyes. "It's not a big deal. Many successful men do it. Even in the old days, our forefathers." Amara's laughter was short, bitter. "Chidi, don't use history to commit heartbreak." "It's not heartbreak," Chidi insisted. "It's tradition. Tradition that didn't carry me when we were hungry," she replied, voice shaking. "Tradition that didn't stand beside you in that face me I face you." Chidi's face hardened. Money had started teaching him arrogance. "Amara, I'm not asking for permission. I'm informing you." That night, Amara cried quietly in the bathroom so the walls would hear what her husband refused to hear. And then the strange younger woman entered their lives like a storm wearing perfume. Her name was Zara. She was tall, fashionable, and young in a way that made some women feel older than their years. She spoke softly, smiled slowly, and looked around the Okafor house like it was a prize she deserved. Chidi introduced her with pride. "This is Zara. She will be staying." Amara's heart fell into her stomach. Zara greeted her. "Good evening, Ma." Amara stared at her. The Ma sounded like mockery, like a slap wrapped in respect. From that day, the house changed. Zara moved like a cat, silent, smooth, always appearing at the right time. She laughed too loudly at Chidi's jokes. She leaned too close when she spoke to him. She wore perfumes that followed him into every room. And Chidi became a different man. He began to compare. "See Zara's cooking," he would say. "See how Zara is always cheerful. See how Zara understands that a man needs peace." Amara would stare at him, wondering how the man who once begged for her smile was now using her tears as floor mat. One afternoon, after Zara mistakenly called Amara's store manager and changed supplier orders, nearly causing Amara a huge loss, Amara confronted Chidi. "This girl is not here to join family," she said. "She is here to scatter it." Chidi snapped. "Amara, stop being insecure. You're behaving like village women." That was the last straw. Amara packed a small bag and left for her family house in Uzalu, moving like a wounded lioness, silent, proud, bleeding inside. Her mother cried when she arrived. Her brothers wanted to fight Chidi. Her father, older and calmer, said, "A man's pride is a stubborn goat. If you chase it, it will run. If you ignore it, sometimes it returns." But Amara's heart was heavy. She spent days staring at the ceiling, wondering if love could expire. One evening, as she walked to buy bread, she met a wise woman by the roadside. The woman sat beside a small table of newspapers and phone chargers. Her wrapper was old, but her eyes were sharp like she could see through people's lies. "Daughter," the woman called, as if she knew Amara's name. "Come." Amara paused. She didn't know why she walked closer. The woman studied her face. "Your spirit is shaking like water in a cup. Somebody has pushed you from your home." Amara's throat tightened. "I left." The woman nodded slowly. "Yes. But you left because somebody wounded you." Amara swallowed. "My husband brought another wife." The woman's eyes didn't widen. She looked like she had heard 1,000 versions of the same story. "Listen," the wise woman said, lowering her voice. "There are fights you win with shouting. And there are fights you win with peace. Not foolish peace, wise peace." Amara frowned. "Peace? While another woman is sleeping in my bed." The woman tapped the table. "Not your bed. Your house. Your life. Your history. Some women enter marriage like visitors. You entered like a builder. Builders do not abandon their house because thieves entered. They return with wisdom." Amara's eyes filled. "So what should I do?" The woman leaned forward. "Go back. Don't fight her with noise. Fight her with behavior. Let your husband taste what real peace looks like. Let him remember why he married you. A man can be fooled by youth, but he cannot be fooled by truth forever." Amara hesitated. "What if he doesn't change?" The woman smiled small. "Then you will still have your dignity." But her smile faded. "Watch carefully. Some young women don't use only face and body. Some use jazz." Amara's skin prickled. The word hit the air like thunder. She left the roadside that day with her mind heavy and her heart strangely steady. 2 days later, Amara returned to Okafor Villa. When she entered, the security man almost fell. "Madam, you're back." Amara nodded, calm. "I'm back." Inside, Zara was in the sitting room, scrolling her phone like a queen. She looked up and smiled lazily. "Ah, Ma, you came. Amara returned the smile, gentle, controlled. Yes, I came. Zara expected shouting. She expected drama. She expected tears. But Amara walked past her and went straight to the kitchen. That evening, she cooked Chidi's favorite. She laid the table like old times. She didn't insult. She didn't beg. She didn't fight. When Chidi came down, he paused, confused, like a man who expected war but found worship. Amara greeted him. Welcome, Chidi. He cleared his throat. You came back. Yes, she said simply. This is my home too. Chidi watched her serve him, watched her face, calm, beautiful, older than Zara's youth, but deeper like mature wine. He ate in silence. Days became weeks. Amara moved through the house like a quiet force. She greeted Zara politely. She did her business without announcing it. She spoke gently to Chidi. She prayed in the mornings. She laughed sometimes, not forced laughter, but the kind that came from a woman who refused to be broken. Zara grew restless. She tried small tricks, dropping comments, creating misunderstandings, moving Amara's things. But Amara responded with grace. And grace, somehow, became a mirror that reflected Zara's wickedness. Chidi started noticing. He began to feel tired in a way sleep didn't cure. Sometimes he would sit alone, staring into space, sweating lightly even when the AC was cold. His temper rose and fell without reason. He became suspicious of everyone, except Zara. Zara always had a solution. Drink this tea, she would say. Don't listen to anybody, she would whisper. Only me understands you. Amara watched quietly, remembering the wise woman's warning. She didn't accuse. She didn't dramatize. She observed. Then one night, something happened. Chidi woke suddenly, gasping like he had been running in a dream. His chest felt heavy. He heard a faint tapping sound beneath the bed, like something shifting. He got up, switched on the light, and knelt. Under the bed, he found a small black cloth tied with red thread. Beside it was a tiny bottle with dark liquid, a rusty padlock, and his own photograph folded in a way that made his stomach twist. Chidi's blood ran cold. He didn't know much about spiritual things, but he knew enough to know that this was not normal. He called out sharply, Zara. Zara rushed in, wearing a silk robe. Baby, what happened? Chidi held up the cloth with trembling fingers. What is this? Zara's face froze for half a second, just half, but Chidi saw it. What is this? He repeated, louder. Zara laughed nervously. Ah, it's nothing. Somebody must have put it there. Maybe your enemies, Chidi's voice rose. My enemies came inside my bedroom and kept it under my bed. Zara, don't insult my intelligence. Zara's eyes darted. Chidi, calm down. But Chidi stood up like a man whose spell had cracked. He marched to her bag, yanked it open, and there, inside, were more items, small threads, strange powders, and a list with his name written repeatedly in pen, over and over, like obsession on paper. Zara's voice became sharp. Don't touch my things. Chidi stared at her. His voice dropped into something dangerous. So it's true. You've been using jazz on me. Zara's eyes flared. So what? If I didn't hold you, you would run back to that old woman. I did what I had to do. The words slapped the air. At that moment, Amara appeared at the doorway, drawn by the noise. Her face was calm, but her eyes held fire. Chidi looked at her, shame rising like bile. Zara turned to Amara, angry. See? Now you're happy. Amara spoke softly. Zara, you entered a home built with sacrifice. You tried to take it with shortcuts and darkness. That kind of thing never lasts. Zara laughed bitterly. You think peace is what kept him? Peace doesn't keep a man. Jazz does. Chidi's face twisted with disgust. He pointed to the door. Pack your things. Leave my house. Zara's mouth dropped. Chidi. Leave, he roared, voice cracking like thunder. Zara realized the battle had turned. She grabbed her things with shaking hands, throwing clothes into a bag, cursing under her breath. At the gate, she spun around. Chidi, you will regret this. Chidi didn't blink. Go and regret your wickedness somewhere else. And just like that, the strange younger woman, who came like a storm left like dirty water, poured away. Silence entered the house, thick, awkward silence. Chidi stood in the sitting room, like a man who had woken from a long, foolish dream. Amara sat down slowly, her hands folded. After a long time, Chidi spoke, voice low. Amara. I don't even know when I became this person. Amara didn't insult him. She didn't celebrate. She simply said, when money enters a house, it must meet wisdom. If it meets pride, it destroys. Chidi's eyes filled. I hurt you. Yes, Amara replied. But I didn't return because I'm weak. I returned because I know what we built. He knelt, Chairman Okafor, importer, big man in the city, knelt like the poor boy he once was. I'm sorry, he whispered. Forgive me. Amara looked at him for a long moment, then placed a hand on his head. I forgive you, she said quietly. But understand this, love is not something you keep in a safe. You must water it every day. If you abandon it, weeds will grow. Chidi nodded like a child. From that day, he changed, not overnight like magic, but steadily like a man afraid of losing what truly mattered. He began to come home early. He began to pray again. He began to respect Amara's presence like the blessing it was. And the people of Abba, who watched everything like cinema, began to whisper again. Have you heard? Madam returned and won with peace. Chairman sent the second wife away. They say Jazz was involved. God forbid bad women. But Amara didn't join gossip. She simply lived. And whenever young brides in the neighborhood asked her, Auntie Amara, how did you do it? She would smile and say, some battles are loud. Some are quiet. But whatever you do, don't lose yourself. Because the day you lose yourself, even if you win your husband, you have lost your life. And so, in that modern Nollywood city where love and temptation danced like rivals, the tale of Chidi and Amara became a warning and a lesson that true love is tested by struggle and destroyed by pride, but sometimes, just sometimes, it can be rescued by wisdom, patience, and the kind of peace that is not weakness, but power.